Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Jens Davidson here, out of focus as usual. Coming at you from my parents' house in the Chicago suburbs. I am at my blacksmithing forge. I just spent a few hours forging a nail header so I could make some 2-foot long rebar nails. Those are going to be for securing some landscape timbers into the ground for perimeterizing a raspberry patch with mulch in there and everything. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. Wanted to show you, I don't remember if I have or not. Why does this thing keep going out of focus? I wanted to show you my blacksmithing setup here. This is a Champion forge and blower and forge company from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This blower in particular has the most recent patent date was April 5th, 1902. I bought this thing used on eBay for a couple $100. It was a boat anchor, entirely seized up. Nothing would move whatsoever from rust. And I beat the living hell out of it, got the gearbox moving again, and sandblasted it, painted it, and put this thing back to life. And it is freaking phenomenal as a blower. This is a model 70, I believe, even though it doesn't have 70 written on it. That's just from catalogs of the day. That's what it came out to be. Fire pot here is a brake drum from my old Ford F-250 1992 model. Just some simple pipe work, dryer vent, plumbing this to the tweer, and it works pretty well. It's coal, it's solid fuel. The reason why I don't have it in Janesville is because I'm afraid Janesville has pretty tight fire restrictions, and I might get neighbors complaining about coal smoke. Anywho, the main subject of this video is a challenging one, and it is the Chemtool Fire in Rockton, Illinois, that you may have heard about. If you have not heard about it, I would encourage you to, while you're already on YouTube, type in the search bar the word Chemtool, Chemtool, and the word fire, and you will see no shortage of videos detailing the absolutely devastating fire that took place at that facility on Monday, the 14th of June, 2021. I worked there for 2.5 years as a quality control chemist. I don't remember if I mentioned that in previous videos or not, but I started in November of 2018, and I resigned on the 4th of June, 2021, literally 10 days before the place burned to the ground. You want to talk about lucky. I hate being that lucky guy. I really do, because there was dozens of people there who were like family over the last couple years that I worked there, and they are now out of a job. Just to put things in context for you, you can see a little bit of fire going on here from my coal forge. What happens when we take not even an ounce of grease on the end of rebar? It's a red lithium complex grease, and add that to it. It burns, right? Burns pretty well. Now, it's nighttime, so you can't see the black smoke that's coming off of it. I kind of can in the light, but it's pretty hard to get on. I don't expect to get it on my phone. This particular grease is a Shell product. You can buy it on Amazon. It's not very expensive. It's called Gaddis S3 V220 C2. And we used to manufacture this grease in 120,000 pound batches, and this is not even an ounce that's burning on the end of this piece of rebar. So that's just one batch. At the facility there was somewhere around 50 grease production kettles. I have no idea how many of those were full or partially full of product in process or finished. And in addition to those, there was another 40 or 50. I never really counted. I wish I did now in hindsight. There were another 40 or 50 silos for storage of finished grease and for packaging it into 55-gallon drums, 35-gallon pails, and 35-gallon kegs, and 5-gallon pails, 2,000-pound totes. You get the idea. We packaged an astronomical amount of grease. Lubricating grease. The grease that's burning here, you can use that, and I would recommend it, for lubricating your ball joints, tie rod ends, wheel bearings on your car, truck, so on and so forth, motorcycle. It's a general purpose grease. But we also made greases for trains and planes, civilian, commercial, military, aircraft, food processing equipment, everything in between. Boats, boat motor grease, impeller grease for the impeller on the boat motor. You name it. If there was a lubricating grease, we probably made it, or we're capable of making an equivalent to it. We're not the only grease manufacturer there, but we were by far the largest in the nation, the largest grease manufacturer, and it is now burned to the ground. And it breaks my heart, it really does. The day that I was supposed to be celebrating because I started a brand new career that makes a lot more money and it's far more exciting with my master's degree in analytical chemistry, that was the same day that my old job burned to the ground. By the grace of God, nobody was even injured in that fire except for a firefighter from smoke inhalation and another firefighter, very minor burns on his leg. He was able to walk himself to an ambulance. But that's an absolute miracle, and I'm hugely grateful for it. Geez, I'd be a wreck if somebody actually died in there that I knew. But anyway, part of this video I wanted to cover how that fire started, and this is coming from witness reports of friends of mine that were actually there. I'm not going to name any names, but from what I heard, the fire was caused by an outside contractor who was doing some service work up near the ceiling on a boom lift. Somehow he ruptured a hot oil transfer line. It was obviously pressurized, and it sprayed hot oil onto a grease production kettle. And grease production kettles, they all had gargantuan electric motors on top. I have no idea how many volts those things were. They were humongous. I've never seen electric motors like that. They powered mixers that would mix the grease in the kettle. And yeah, somehow it got sparked, and the fire spread insanely quickly. The building had a sprinkler system, but sprinkler is not what you should be using in the case of a grease fire. Have a grease fire in your kitchen. Do you spray water on it? Hell no, you don't. You suffocate it with a lid to put out the fire on your skillet. You spray water on it, you spread it everywhere, because water and grease don't mix. So, in addition to all the grease production kettles that were there and the storage silos and everything, there was also silos for storing raw material oil that came into the facility. We would receive oil from train cars. Every train car carried 24,000 gallons of oil, and it would pump them into a silo. We had, I don't remember how many of these silos, probably a half dozen, that contained 150,000 gallons of oil. They were friggin' gargantuan. You can see them on the YouTube videos of the wreckage. I'm not saying all those were full, because with COVID we've had a lot of hard time getting raw materials into the building, because other facilities that are our vendors have been reduced capacity. But still, there was probably well over 1 million gallons of oil in that facility, just raw, unused oil, when the fire started. So you can imagine why things went up so quickly and burned for so long. Fire crews on site tried initially to put the fire out with obviously water, because they didn't know, maybe it was started by cardboard, they had no idea. But they knew what the facility was. We'd gone through fire safety training and all that stuff. But before long, the firefighters realized that there was no way in hell that water was going to put that out, so they removed all operations, and they decided to let the building burn. And honestly, that's the right call. There was nothing they could do. People want to speculate that why didn't they call in airport fire suppression teams, like from O'Hare or Midway, or Rockford's got an airport. Why didn't they call them in to spray foam on it? Yeah, are you freaking stupid? An airplane is a drop in the bucket compared to the capacity of combustible material in that facility. Spraying foam at that stage would have been a joke. The foam would have burned up well before it got anywhere near the actual material that's burning. That's the result of people speculating and being absolutely stupid. Further results of people speculating and being absolutely stupid is people saying that the fire was started by a deep implanted CIA operative undercover for the purpose of either A, having Warren Buffett cash in on the insurance company or the insurance benefit, because Warren Buffett owns Lubrizol Corporation, which owns Chemtool Incorporated, or B, CIA operatives started the fire so that every industry sector serviced by Chemtool's products could jack up their prices to the end user. Planes can charge a little bit more airfare because now they got to find their grease somewhere else. Train services, commercial and transportation of people, they got to jack their prices up because now the wheel bearing grease and all that stuff, they got to find it somewhere else, so on and so forth. Just this absolutely stupid speculation. That's not how it was started. The fire was not started by a deep implant CIA operative. Just do yourself a favor and do the world a favor and don't make absolutely stupid conspiracy theories like that, because it does no good and it's frankly disrespectful to all the people, about 200, who just lost their job. So my request to you all is keep those employees in your thoughts and prayers as they now try to find a new job, and refrain from wild speculations. The fire was started, plain and simple, by an accident. Accidents happen, and sometimes they have no consequences, and sometimes they have absolutely catastrophic consequences. And yeah, this one's bad, but again, hugely grateful that nobody lost their lives. This thing actually has a bunch of some Lucas oil, gear oil. We did not make that. But it also has a double-aught grease that our company manufactured. You can get it off Amazon. It's called Gaddis S2 V220, and it is a 00 grade grease. It's very, very thin. And so like I said, you can get it on Amazon. It's not very expensive. And I filled that up in here because that grease has very good anti-wear properties. And this thing's an antique and it's already worn pretty badly. But anyway, yeah, this is a challenging video, not one that I enjoy making, because it seriously breaks my heart that my old job burned to the ground, because I really love that place. I left it, so that tells you that I didn't love it entirely. Yeah, the pay was pretty bad, and there was no avenues for me to advance my career as a chemist, just because the structure of the place, there wasn't any other jobs for chemists really, except for what I did, and it was, again, it paid the bills, but that was about it. I didn't make enough money to save anything. So I got a new job. I'm very, very fortunate that I got a new job when I did, because I am not economically impacted by that fire at all. But still, I am heartbroken for all my friends, not only in the QC lab, but in the production side of things, who now are out of a job. So again, please keep them in your thoughts and prayers as they try to land on their feet and get a job elsewhere. I've reached out to the HR at my current employer to, I've reached out to my coworkers and encouraged them to apply where I am now, because my current employer is hiring a lot. So I'm doing what I can. But anyway, I'm going to call it. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on the next video.